Got a house you need to sell? I mean, need to sell. Don't just want to list it. You actually need it moved so you can move on with your life. Hi, my name is Sunny Singh, and today I got David Maroka with me, and we are going to talk about seller strategies. And this is being recorded in July of 2025. I'm putting a timestamp on it. Most people don't like to do that because it can age or date a video. I think it's pertinent. I think if you're watching this, you're probably a seller or somebody, a homeowner that wants to sell their home, and you're looking for facts. Or maybe you're a real estate agent and you wanted to know what we're doing, you know, at our firm that's different than a lot of other firms. You know, well, hey, we don't gatekeep around here. This is going to be chock full of information. David, hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Sunny?
David, let's get right into it, man. You're buying. Somebody calls you. Mm-hmm. They want to sell their home.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's begin with what does that call look and feel like?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, they call and they ask, hey, we're looking to sell our home, and you know, we want you to come out and take a look at the house. So I tell them, all right, I don't talk about price or anything like that, because you really have to evaluate the condition of the house, because that's going to play a big part into it. So, we set an appointment that I come out, take a look at the house, and give them a true estimation of value.
Sure. I mean, I'm looking at 1969 Chevelles right now.
Yeah.
For a project car for me and the kids. I want to grow with that and then give them out to them. So if I ever die, they can say, hey, I built this with my dad, like a legacy gift, right? And dude, everyone wants to know how much you want to pay. And I'm like, does this thing have rust? Is it originals? Or is this a resto? What are we talking about here?
Right.
So you got to see what you're walking. You got to see what you're going to sell before you can know if this product can move for the price.
Exactly.
What type of folks are calling you right now? Like, why is someone calling you to sell right now?
You know, kind of running the gambit. You have people that are, life situations kind of change where they're downsizing. Got some people that are, run into a little bit of debt, and they just need to sell their house because it's not affordable to them. And others that they've just kind of, I have some clients now that've kind of put their hands up and say, we're done with California. We want to move out of state.
So we got I hear relocations. I hear some financial duress, right? Some people that are in financial sticky situations might be facing bankruptcy or maybe losing their home. Mm-hmm. We got some people that are just like, hey, I need to move up or I need to move down, like your historic general seller, right? Then you got sprinkled in there some life events, right? Like divorce, death, a loss of a loved one. All right, cool. Now that we know that, let's get into the meat and potatoes. What I see historically, what I've seen historically, and I'm a seller more than I am a buyer with you, right? Because I buy my homes I'm an investor. So this isn't Sunny Singh, broker owner of KEES Lending and KEES Homes. This is Sunny Singh, the seller, talking to you now. What I see is real estate agents want to come to my house and put a sign in front of my house, and they have tried to pitch me in the past of a slew of different things that sound really good. And this is what they sound like. Oh, we're going to go ahead and pre-market the listing. We're going to, put it on Zillow coming soon. Okay. I could do that. Fizbo, I could do that. Then they say, oh, it's going to be syndicated on homes.com, realtor.com, Trulia, Zillow.com, Redfin.com. And I'm like, okay, but that syndication occurs the moment you put it on the MLS.
Correct.
Automatically. It's fed through the IDX feed of MLS into these public MLS systems, which those public MLS systems are genius. They're like, hey, you don't have to be a real estate agent. You could search for homes for free on our site, and they're capturing data. They're capturing what you're searching for, how you're searching behavior, like that kind of stuff. That's a whole different conversation. Then I ask our agent, like, hey, yo, what do you do different? What are you going to do different to get more eyeballs on my flip, on my investment, how I earn a living for my family? How are you going to sell this for me? And I swear to God, Matt, I'm oftentimes met with, because I interviewed a lot of agents, right? It's the reason I started a real estate company is because of that, right? And they would look at me and they would say, well, what would you like me to do? This is not a knock. I'm trying to get the audience to get an understanding of what's out there. There's a lot of rah out there. This is not an ethical violation. This is a broker sharing with you what I've seen. This is an investor, actually, not a broker, an investor sharing with you what I've seen. There's a lot of rah. There's a lot of, hey, when they go to their brokerage firms, there's a lot of scripting practice. There's a lot of, hey, this is what we'll do. There's a lot of, look at my signage. There's a lot of, hey, let me buy the right, like, system, HomeBot, this, that, like all these systems that are out there to try to lead aggregate, like lead generate, right? But how do you sell my property and not let the market do its thing? So David, now that I've prefaced that, what makes you different and what have you learned over the years of us working together and you representing, because would you say I'm an average seller?
No, actually, you're not.
Yeah. So am I easy or hard to work with?
No, you're difficult, but it's because you've taken the time to really try to understand the market, the process, so that it's all about efficiency. Making sure that you're doing everything on your end and your agent's doing everything on their end to sell the house quickly and profitably for you.
So with the seller, with a seller in mind who's watching right now, what are some tactics, some strategies that you deploy when you're taking on a listing?
So what I do is I meet with them and you run comparables to show them what houses are selling for, what houses are on the market for, so they can really understand the value and the market, because again, they have this idea that their house is worth way more than it really is. And, you have to explain to them, this is your competition. These are the homes that are selling right now at the price that you think that it's worth. But look at days on market. They're just sitting there. So I'm very, very honest with them and upfront saying, if you price it at this price, it's just going to sit. And it's not to tell them, hey, we're going to sell it for, list it for a really low price just to get it sold. No, it's just to give them that information. But I'm also telling them, you know what? I may not know the ins and out of every little street in your neighborhood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to the top producers in that specific area and let them know that this house is coming on the market.
All right, so let me break that down real quick. So the step one wasn't anything new. Like if I was a realtor watching this, like, okay, you run comps. Yeah. As you should, because that's how you're going to derive the value of how you're going to list this property. You're going to look at current listings for sale, see if they're sitting at that price point, why they're sitting. Is it the product itself? Does it have a sloppy kitchen? Does it have a backyard that's not been touched since the 60s? Is it a poor layout? Yeah. Is it on a facing street? And then you're also going to look at what closed. I'm with you there. Yeah. But that's what everyone does, right? The second part of it is kind of meat and potatoes. Right. What's that second part again? So you're calling.
So yeah, I'm reaching out to the top producers that have big market share in that specific area. And I'm contacting them via email and directly through phone call, letting them know that this new house is coming on the market because they may have a handful of buyers that are looking in that specific area. So it's just to try to get more touches before we even go on the market.
Real estate, real estate and mortgage to me could be one, and I've said this before to you, Matt, in private. Real estate and mortgage to me could be one step below an attorney. Think about it. We deal with the paperwork. We deal with contracts. We deal with legal documents, okay? And we're helping people purchase, in California, expensive property, starting at like $400,000 all the way up to $4 million. That's someone's biggest purchase, okay? But time and time again, because there's so much focus on acquiring a customer, it's a race to the bottom. It's treated like a side hustle and lead generation. And because over the years, I'm saying as a people, have glorified and glamorized, the glitz and glamour of the $1 million listing agent or that top producer, right? They look and dress and feel like this. They got a Range Rover, they got a hard part, they got the Louis bag, they go to all the fancy dinners. It's their Instagram is full of them in Greece, Santorini, and Italy, right? I don't give a shit about any of that. Can you sell my house? How quickly can you move this house? So I want tactics. I want strategy. So again, if you're watching this, that was me just kind of diatribing real quick and saying, hey, look, instead of being one step below an attorney, we're choosing to be one step above a used car salesman, and we don't have to be that way. Let's do better as an industry, okay? Here's how we do better. You make it a practice to create an Excel spreadsheet. You use the app Retter, RETR.app. If you're an agent watching this, this is inside information. You should be writing this down. You use retr.app. Look at David's face. He doesn't want me to share this. And you download anybody that's sold a home on the buy side or the list side in that zip code near that neighborhood. Is this true or false?
It's true.
You create the Excel spreadsheet. It's got the name, the email, the phone number, and which property they sold. And then you outbound physically call that person. So you have a listing agreement in hand, but before it hits the market, when your guy, Brandon, is going and making those really cool drone photos and all that stuff, you're going and making this list, and then you're on a dialer system, you're on a phone system on your CRM calling these people. What are you saying to them?
I'm letting them know about the house, giving them some details about it, and then also letting them know that we're offering incentives.
Can we do a script real quick?
Sure.
So ring, ring, ring. Hello, this is top producer Dan.
Hey Dan, this is David with KEES
I drive a
Homes.
Range Rover. Sorry. Go ahead.
Hey Dan, I just want to let you know that I've got this house coming up in the market in Citrus Heights. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. It's 2,500 square feet. Totally redone, kitchen, bathrooms, flooring, roof, and you want to let you and your.
What does that have to do with me?
I want to let you know that you may have some buyers in this area because you're a top producer in the Citrus Heights market. So want to invite you to come take a look at it, and also let you know that we're offering an incentive to your buyers.
Bingo. Okay. So first of all, 3-2 at 2,500 square feet. Okay, we put him on the spot, right?
Yeah.
Number 2. Okay, so now that you know, he puts a list together on Excel. He puts all the people that have sold, whether a top producer or not. And it's if you're a seller watching this, you might be thinking, well, why don't I just go to the top producer? Because they ain't doing it. They're not doing this exercise. Your buyer is not always going to come from that top producer. He's also calling. It's 200 people he calls. I've witnessed him do this. When it's a slow open house, I'm literally watching him make the calls of people he couldn't connect with before that sold one home. And the script is more like, hey, my name is David. You sold this home on da-da-da-da street back in June of last year. I got a house that's priced comparably to that or a little less, and it's nicer. I know you may not represent a lot of buyers out here, but by any chance, do you have a buyer that might be interested in this? Let's move on to the next tactic. In the MLS, is it true now, ever since the new change has happened, since a realtor NAR lawsuit, you can't list the commission percentage?
Correct.
Can you share with someone who's not in the industry what that means?
So before, you would put on the MLS what the co-op commission would be, meaning that whatever you're charging the seller, you would split that commission with the buyer. So you would advertise the agent could see on the MLS how much the commission is for them.
They can see what they're going to earn.
Correct.
So think about it like this. You have your Zillow that you're using, Mrs. Seller. The agent has MLS. So it used to be where they'd go on there and they'd see how much compensation they're going to make on the purchase price. So if it's $1 million house, they're getting 2.5%, they're going to make $25,000 gross commission. Then they get a split from their broker, or if they're the broker, they get $25,000 for doing that transaction. Wow, a lot of money. Okay. So they don't do that anymore.
No, that's not allowed.
So what do you do after you're off the phone with those 200 people that you call? What do you do?
I'm letting them know in the conversation that we're, aside from the incentive, this is the commission that we're willing to offer to them. And then also we're sending out emails to them, and it's in the email what their compensation would be. Okay,
so step 3, I love this part. You go to Canva, you use our in-house graphic designer. They create a really nice email. It shows a couple property highlight photos, the kitchen, the bathroom. Then it gives a lot of the public record information, the bedroom, bathroom count, the square footage, the year built. Then it tells any highlights. Oh, remodeled, redone roof 2 years ago, brand new, water heater, that kind of stuff. And then down below, I really like this. I like it because it was, I think, my idea, but you ran with it and you made it even better. Is you put down what the estimated payment would be, the rate would be. You get that information from me, and then you put all the disclaimers on there. Hey, this is what the credit score has to be. This is what it is. And you do it for VA, FHA, and conventional. And you say, this is what, if you bring a buyer by this time, this is what it could appraise for. This is the seller credit you can ask for. This is what it would do to the payment versus writing a lesser offer.
Yeah.
What made you do that?
kind of having that situation. You know, you're feeling like I can't get this house sold, so you got to be creative. Like what out of the box method could be used in order to get this house sold? And you know, I hate to say it, but you know, realtors are a little lazy.
Okay.
You know, unless the information is there in front of us, we're not willing to go that extra mile to share that. So, you know, talking with you and figuring out, you know, what would be the best way to really showcase this house and what the payment is, because, you know, buyers are payment sensitive right now.
I think what I love about that is that it's written in a fashion, it's written in a way where you could that realtor could just forward it. Mm-hmm. It's not personalized not only to the realtor, but they could literally just forward it to their client.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, look, or copy and paste the section of its snippet tool and say, hey, I got this house and this is what the payments could be for this house. Interested? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And there's no force of using an in-house lender. It's like, hey, forward this to your lender. Mm-hmm. This is what's out there. You know, so having that visual to kind of plant the seed in the agent you're calling's head. So essentially, he's calling 200 to 250 agents that have closed a deal in that area over the last year to let them know, to draw in the crowd, like, hey, don't miss this one. We have a house here. It's coming soon. This is what we think it'll appraise for. This is what our list price is going to be. Here's 3 different ways you could write the offer. 10 grand higher, you get 20 grand back. Or, you know, right at the asking price, we've already pre-negotiated 10 grand included in there. And this is what those funds could be used for in a buy down situation or even a permanent buy down situation. So instead of a 2-1 or a 3-2-1, you could do a buy down. That's very technical. Okay. Mm-hmm. Tell us about what you do with the neighborhood.
The neighborhood, you know, I go out and I create a flyer and give all the description and photos
before listing.
Before listing.
So
correct.
Before live,
yes.
You have a listing agreement. Mm-hmm. You make another flyer.
Yes.
Neighbor friendly. Mm-hmm. And then what do?
Go and canvass the area. Let them know that the house is for sale, because you never know. Those neighbors may have a family member or a coworker or friend that is looking to live in that neighborhood. So it's kind of introducing myself, letting them know the house for sale, and also, you know, give them some info on the house. So.
Amen. You know why? Anytime, I don't know about you, Matt, anytime a house comes on the market, I forward it to my dad, or I forward it to like one of my best friends. Yeah. And I go, dude, you could move here. Like, get this house. Our kids could play. Yeah. Like, I get like my neighbor in my last house was my kid's best friend's parents. And we're like, dude, you have to buy this house. We like literally forced them to buy the house next door. And then we sold later. And like, sorry, Bobby and Katie for that one. But like but they were like, dude, like, so when you do that, how many times do you run into someone and go, oh, really? They're selling? Oh, Judy and Sam are selling? And they talk to you about a whole conversation.
Oh, yeah. And it sparks conversation where, you know, they might be thinking the same thing, but they don't know where to start. So it's just, it allows me to get to know the neighborhood, get to know the neighbors, and again, get more eyes on that house. You're
almost 50. Mm-hmm. One might say, why don't you just send postcards out? But it's so informal, right? So you're still going out there. How many doors would you say you'd knock?
Depending on the area, you knock anywhere from 50 to 100 houses.
So you're going in your car 4 doors at a time, knocking on the door and going, hey, I'm selling this house. So you're not going there to be like, hey, can I sell your house? You're like, hey, I'm selling this house. This weeds out any of the looky-loos. Mm-hmm. This weeds out any neighbors stopping by the open house. This actually allows him to be able to gain referrals right on the spot. Do you know anybody that might be interested? I've literally seen him do this. Okay. And it became a part of our action step when we sell our flips. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, it also gives you some intel about the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Hey, who else might be moving? Oh, they're selling? Oh, wow. What do you think they're going to sell for? Because that might turn into your next listing. But you're not even doing it for that reason.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that we know that, tell us about Neighbor Open House.
So
that program you created.
Yeah. So again, with that, talking to the neighbors, that first weekend that the house is on the market, we have open house. But then I invite the neighbors to a neighbors only open house. So it's usually an hour before the public open house starts, so that way they can come in. And again, they're curious. They want to see what's been done to the house, any upgrades. They may get ideas for their own house, but it does avoid the looky-loos when the public open house comes in, because you may want to talk to a potential buyer, but you have the neighbor come in and they want to tell you, about their life story, and then what happened 2 streets down, and what happened to the other neighbor.
You get caught up in you get caught up in a conversation that doesn't have anything to do with selling the home.
Exactly.
Okay, so really pay attention to this story. It's a quick story. I loved the fact that we had an open house on the Rancho Cordova house. Mm-hmm. You were working it. I was heading out of town. I was like, man, I wonder what happens.
Yeah.
You went there on a Friday evening. I think it was 5:30 to 7:30, and I think you bought I want to say you bought 8 Round Table pizzas, or it was like a local Rancho Cordova pizzeria. Yeah. And then you invited the neighbor open house on that Friday, and there was neighbors there that never broke bread with one another or never even met one another, and they've all lived there 10 years.
Yeah.
True story?
True. Yeah.
And what came out of that?
They definitely were kind of talking it up. They said, "Oh, this is great. I love what you guys did to the house." And you get to get some backstory on the house itself, so that way you can share those little anecdotes with the potential buyer. He said, "Oh, you know what? This house used to have this, or it was really dilapidated." And then you can really emphasize that to the public. Say, the seller did this. They really took care of this issue and this issue, and now it's like a brand new house.
Let's go back to more technical. Mm-hmm. That's great. Yeah. And he does all this, and there's more. Talk to me about price reduction strategy. And we'll end it here because this video is getting a little long. Matt, where are we at?
We're at 20 minutes.
20 minutes, right? I don't want to bore anybody with a long video. But talk to me about how you talk to your seller about a future price reduction up front.
Mm-hmm. So with the seller, again, it's all about being honest and upfront and letting them know you want to get out of your house in a certain amount of time. We don't want to wait 2 months, 3 months before we do a price reduction. It's upfront, and we dedicate a timeline and said, if we don't get any hits or any offers by this date, we're going to price reduce by this amount. And then they agree to it, and I will make sure that we're definitely getting eyes on the house.
So let's really make sure you understand that. So if you're a seller watching this, don't go in your head and go, "Oh, he's already talking about a price reduction. This guy's not going to sell our house for the price we want." No, it's measured. I'm an investor. If it doesn't sell for the price that I need it to sell for, I don't make the profit margin I need. That means that my whole exit strategy has to change now. It has to change from selling it to possibly pulling it off the market, putting a tenant in there for a year to 2 years, and then revisiting selling it later once I've built some cash flow equity. I don't want to do that. So I also don't want to have a conversation with my realtor that's repetitive and negative later, "Oh, when do we want to do a price reduction?" So David, before we even signed the listing agreement, he says, "Look, in 14 days, or sometimes it's 21 days, we're going to reduce it by this much, and I'm going to send you the calendar invite now." And then it eliminates a conversation. I'll give you an example. We had a price that we disagreed upon. He thought he was going to get, $499. I was like, being a true seller, I'm like, I think we can get $515, $520. Sassoon house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we went on the market, and he said, "Hey, in 14 days, if it doesn't go, if our measured metrics aren't hitting." By the way, our measured metrics that tell us if it's priced right are two factors. You want to tell them?
No, go ahead.
It's how many phone calls are we getting phone inquiries, and how many showings are we getting? If we got 4 to 5 showings that week, we're priced good. We're priced well. If we got 10 to 15 calls that week, we're priced well. Because usually 10 to 15 calls will turn into 4 to 5 showings. That's just how the game works. If we have 10 or 15 showings, then we might have underpriced it. We're like, "Oh man," but by that time it's too late. So imagine I'm on the market. I want to be at $515. He's telling me $499. That's a $16,000 spread. And he's like, "Hey, in 14 days, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna send you a DocuSign for a price reduction to $499. Guess what? It went 14 days, got that DocuSign email. We had already talked about it. It was on my calendar invite sent by him. I signed it, sent it back. It was price reduced. It was out of my life, and I knew what it was. At least the FOMO, the fear of missing out, was out of my system. As a seller, I got to see and try. And I didn't get to rack up days on the market. Because imagine if I had stuck my guns and said, "No, we're going to wait 25 days. That's the average days on market." Well, then now 25 days, I'm looking like a stale listing. And now I'm going to get lowballed anyways. Mm-hmm. So, David, thank you for sharing some of your tactics and strategies. If there's a message you have for a seller right now that's thinking about selling in July of 2025 or after this, what message would you want to send them?
Well, if you have to sell, but make sure that you are doing your homework and not just relying on the agent or whatever flyer. There's enough information there for you to know what know about your house, and then ask the right questions to make sure you pick the correct agent for you.
And for the realtors out here watching this, I really hope that you don't take this as like the wrong way. I hope you really like run with this. Create a process. Follow a system and a process and a checklist. You could use ChatGPT if you're out of ideas, and AI will come up with some ideas for you. But honestly, it's kind of cheating doing that. It'll give you a nice base rough draft, but I think you should come up with your own and then do the work. Your whole goal, if you're going to be a seller's agent, is if you don't want the pressure of selling a home, go be a buyer's agent. You can make a great income helping a buyer, and you can refine your negotiating skills by doing so. If you're going to take on sellers, people whose lives count on you to sell and move that product, have the confidence to do that, you better have a process. You better have a checklist. You better have a system in place. David, any message you want to share to the realtors?
Don't be scared of technology. Don't be scared of AI. Use that to help, improve your skills and be collaborative. A lot of agents are really scared to share with other realtors because, they want to just keep all the information. You're not going to be able to sell the house yourself. Another agent is going to bring that buyer. So be collaborative. Talk to other agents. Really try. Your job is to sell the house. So use everything at your disposal to do so.
Great information. Thank you, David. Any sellers out there, if you want to get David's information or get in contact with him, the link is down below. It's flashing on screen now. It'll also be in the link in the bio down below. Thank you for watching.